Welcome, everybody. It is week 2 of our baking challenge. This is Baking with Jen, and I'm Jen. And for this week's baking challenge, the theme is kid friendly. So, let's see. We got technical issues coming up. Okay. Okay. Well, some stuff's going on. Give it just a sec. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Uh-uh-uh-uh. What the heck is going on here?
All right.
Sorry about that. We got some technical difficulties going on. It's been weird today. But we're here and we're doing this. So for week 2 of our baking challenge, kid friendly, today we are making Rice Krispie treats. I have some fun, colorful Rice Krispies that we're going to use. And we're making some brownie bites. I'm making just a regular brownie recipe and then making them into little cupcake kind of things so that you can have miniature brownies. And I am going to use some little Hershey's Kisses in some of the brownies. So we'll see how that goes. But yeah, so right now we are working on these things, trying to get my other camera up, and it's just, there's some kind of issue, but it's okay. Okay, we're working on it. So, let me show you real quick. So we're going to start off with brownies. So we're going to start off with brownies. And then because the Rice Krispie Rice Krispie treats don't take as long, we'll work on those while the brownies are cooking. So that's what we got going on right now. So let's see. Let me show you our brownie real quick. Share. Lovely, lovely. Okay, so this is the brownie recipe I'm using today. It's from All Recipes. The link is in the description below. We got sugar, flour, melted butter, eggs, cocoa powder, vanilla, baking powder, salt, and instead of using walnuts, I'm going to use some chocolate chips. So it's going to have all kinds of chocolate, and I'm not going to want to eat them. That's okay. All right, so let's remove this. Here we go. So I did a little something today, and I pre-measured most of my ingredients for the brownies. I thought I had most of my ingredients measured, but that's okay. I have one or two we still need to measure out. It will be fine. So let's dive into these brownies, and then we'll start working on everything else. So first step for the brownies is we're going to need to preheat our oven. And this says 350 degrees, which is just kind of standard baking temperature. Quite honestly, my oven, when you hit that you want to bake, it automatically goes to 350, if that tells you anything, if you don't bake already. So, okay, so it basically says mix everything in a bowl, like put everything in a bowl, mix it, and have a nice day. It doesn't quite say have a nice day, that's me, but very, very close. So let's see. Let's get our cameras all switched around and we'll begin. All right. So, oh, camera's coming in there. Like I said, I already measured out a lot of these ingredients. So let's turn over to our mixing cam. There we go. And let's make this more even. So in here I have, it's technically a cup and a half of flour. 1 cup of all-purpose flour is about 120 grams. So I measured out 180 grams. I think it was like 182 or something like that. So that's what we have in the bowl. And then, and then 2 cups of sugar. I weighed out into 400 grams. So we have a cup and a half of flour, 2 cups of sugar. And this is technically supposed to be half a cup of sugar, a half a cup of cocoa powder. Dr. Google says that that 1 cup of brownie batter, nope, cocoa powder, 1 cup of cocoa powder equals 100 grams. So I measured out 50, and that's what we have here. So far in here we have our flour, sugar, and cocoa powder. So the things that I wasn't able to measure out just yet are going to be a half teaspoon of salt, which I always measure salt like with my hands. I don't really measure it up. So half a teaspoon. There's a teaspoon. Well, that's about what I think half a teaspoon looks like. So we go with half a teaspoon of salt, and then we have baking powder, and this says half a teaspoon of baking powder. So one of the things with baking powder, you can use a little bit extra. The only thing is if you use too much extra, it will add a weird flavor. I've done that before. Don't do it. So, like in my biscuits, I think it calls for like 2 tablespoons, and I'll just put like 2.5, 3 tablespoons, and it never changes the flavor of my biscuits. But I also don't use like half a cup instead of 2 tablespoons. But this looks about half a half a teaspoon to me. And so, yes, it's a little rock because this is clumpy, and that happens. Water in the air happens. So I'm just going to kind of crush up this little rock of baking powder and get it in here. So I believe those are dry ingredients: sugar, flour, cocoa powder, baking powder, and salt. So I am going to take nope, not that tiny spatula. I'm going to take a little spatula, and I'm just going to mix this up real quick, just to kind of get all the dry ingredients together, because I don't want anything crazy happening here. So as I start spilling everything everywhere, that's okay. That's okay. We'll just pretend it never happened and keep going on with our lives. All right, so we have this mostly mixed. I could probably get like a whisk or something and really mix it well, but I don't want to dirty a ton of dishes, so I have to wash them afterwards. So we're gonna make ourselves a little well. So what can be a little well? And at this point, having a whisk might be really helpful, because then you can actually like whisk it in. But I'm not gonna worry about that right now. So I do have 1 cup of melted butter. This is 2 sticks of butter. And so pour in our cup of melted butter, and then this calls for vanilla and 4 eggs. So this is a teaspoon of vanilla, and again, I don't measure these appropriately. Like I could get a teaspoon and we could measure it, or we can just splash, splash, splash. That looks good. Again, this isn't an ingredient that's going to like really change anything. It just adds a little bit of flavor. So adding a couple splashes isn't going to be the end of the world. All right, and then from here, I think we just have our eggs, well, and our chocolate chips. I kept thinking cocoa powder. It's not cocoa powder, it's chocolate chips. Oh, so it looks like we're not streaming on Facebook right now. That one's having issues for some reason. But that's okay. Let's view on Facebook. Continue to Facebook. Okay, so while we're checking on that, let's go ahead and add our eggs. I was trying to do this before we got on here because I was trying not to do a bunch of the measuring stuff, but it's okay. It's okay. We'll just go from here. So yeah, this does call for 4 eggs, which I think is technically a little extreme, but I don't question the recipes. I just make them. All right. So for 4 eggs, and then I'm gonna go rinse my hands real quick because egg mess. All right. So I'm trying to stab the eggs because I don't know if you've ever tried to mix eggs into something when they're whole. They don't like to mix. They just kind of swirl around in the batter and then just kind of do whatever they want. So we don't need to like treat this gently. Like you could whisk it. You can whisk it and like rough with it and all that kind of fun stuff. I'm using more of like a folding technique because I want to. It's what it all boils down to is I want to. And I like this scraping on the side of the bowl in order to get everything incorporated. I like um, I like being gentle with my mixes. Now, you can't always be gentle, but sometimes um, it happens. Okay, Facebook, you are not being happy with this right now. Why are you not being happy? The oven's ready. Okay, let's see if this does this get. Anyway, we're mixing. Oh, see, and then it gets all thick. And then if I had been using a whisk, it would be all in the middle of my whisk. And that is like one of my biggest pet peeves is having things get caught in the middle of your whisk. Sometimes I do it to myself, but if I can avoid it, I like to. So we are mostly mixed up here. That went really, really quick. This is what happens when you pre-measure your ingredients. You can put them together rather quickly. Unresponsive. I don't like it as a pizza. Right. Ooh, what's going on here? Learn more. Why are you not being nice to me? Facebook isn't being nice to me. Ooh, did we fix it? Did it fix? Nope. Okay, let's refresh this page. Reload. Hopefully we won't lose this because I'm streaming on 3 different devices. So, the main one that I use to organize everything is on my laptop. Yeah, I use StreamYard so I can go to multiple places. It's really, really convenient and really helpful. I love this. So there's StreamYard, and for some reason it's not wanting to connect to Facebook today. I don't know why. I don't know. And I don't have like a, this is my Facebook cam, this is my YouTube cam. It's just, why is it not going? Well, oh, okay. So we're trying to load things. That's okay. Sometimes we just can't help it. So we just might not be on Facebook today. I'll try to share this to Facebook later. So let's grab the mini muffin pan. I wanted to say tin. Not that that's the wrong word. It's just not the most correct. Maybe it doesn't like it because I started late. I don't know. Oh well. I'm just gonna be done dealing with the technical difficulties for right now, and we'll have to upload to Facebook later. Sorry, Facebook. Hopefully, you'll still get to see this later. But for the moment, we're on YouTube and Twitch, so we got that part. All right, so brownies, and then I just have. I was gonna go get my. Yeah, wasn't I? Okay, we'll mix in some chocolate chips real quick. I don't like this bag is already open. So doing 2 big handfuls of chocolate chips. Like so this part doesn't really matter how much chocolate chips you want to use. If you really, really like chocolate, add more chocolate chips. But I'm gonna be adding Hershey's Kisses to the center of some of these. I was gonna do caramels too, but then I forgot to do caramels at the store. So we're just doing chocolate. It's fine. So give me just a minute, let me grab my pan. So miniature muffin pans. You like it? And these are gonna make some beautiful brownies. So let's stir this in real quick. The chocolate chips all in there. This is kind of a thick brownie batter. I'm used to brownie batters being a little bit thinner than this. And I don't know if it's because it's been sitting here and so like flour absorbs liquid. So I don't know if that's what's going on. Or if it's just like this is a thick batter. That could be it. So I'm gonna take some cooking spray. I'm just going to spray down. This one is at the end of its life, so I don't think it's very happy. It's okay. It's okay. We're gonna spray. It's fine. So I'm gonna use a scoop for these because we're putting them into this little pan. So instead of trying to over it, I think a scoop is going to be our best bet. Let's see. I don't know. Facebook's just gonna not be working today. And so, ooh, looks like this scoop is gonna be a good size because it fills it up most of the way. You don't want to fill it up all the way because typically when you bake things, they rise, and we don't want it just overflowing anywhere. But it seems like a level scoop is about perfect. So let's just scoop as much as we can. And we'll see if we need that second pan. I'm hoping not, because this recipe says it makes 16 brownies, and this pan makes 36 mini muffins. And so I'm hoping that the 16 brownies break down into 36 mini muffins. That is the hope. I'm not sure if that's true, but that's what we're hoping for. We got lots of hope. Hope is something I can definitely identify with. Lots and lots of hope. Dude, it wouldn't be cool to have the Hope Diamond. Actually, the only reason why I want the Hope Diamond is so that I can say I got hope around my neck. That's it. I don't care about diamonds. I prefer unique gemstones that have some kind of other value to them. Like, um, for the longest time, my favorite has actually been amethyst because it's purple. And I recently, in the last couple of months, found a different stone that I love even more. It can have a purple pink tint to it in some lights, and in other lights, it has like a green light, a green tint to it. Forget what it's called. It starts with an A. I think it's supposed to also be like the June birthstone or something like that, which I thought was really weird because I, at one point in time, had a boyfriend whose birthday was in June, and I think he said his birthstone was a pearl, and he's like, that is the most non-manly birthstone ever. He's like, okay. I think it's like azurite or something. That's the one I'm thinking of, and that one would be a perfect like masculine birthstone. I'm not saying if you're a man you can't like pearls. It's just in our society anyway, it seems like if you like pearls, then you're usually a woman. Or if you're wearing pearls, you're usually a woman. I think I've seen some men wear like a pearl earring. Oh, there is a guy that I know that wears a pearl necklace. What is his name? He's on TikTok. He does baking videos, but I like his videos because he um he bakes like old timey recipes, and he's like, I think one of my favorites, like a tomato soup cake from the Depression era or something like that. His name starts with a D. I can't remember his name, but he wears a string of pearls in some of his videos. But he's also gay married, so I don't know if there's a connection there. Quite possible. But he is hilarious. He has great um, videos. He did, like I said, he does like trials of old recipes. He recently came out with a cookbook, which the only reason why I don't want his cookbook, not that I don't want it, like if it was gifted to me, I would be incredibly grateful because I love him. And so having his cookbook would be awesome. But it's not one of those things that I would probably buy for myself because it's not something that I would probably use very often. You're like, oh, this is a cool cookbook to have, and it probably has some really cool recipes in it because it's like his cookbook's like baking yesteryear or something like that because he's always doing old timey recipes. Um, but it's just not the kind of stuff that I bake a lot. And most of the recipes I've seen on his channel, they have interesting twists to them. Usually a lot of like gelatin stuff. So this pan I am going to put Hershey's Kisses in, and then my other pan I think I'm just going to leave it alone and see what happens. But I am kind of trying to push these in here a little bit, and also some of these are peppermint and some of them are just milk chocolate kisses. So I'm going to milk chocolate at one side, peppermint the other, and then we'll see where we end up. And then the rest of this batter is going to go in the other pan, and we're just going to pretend that nothing's happening with it. So we're going to do. I got these. This is at Christmas, and I think the peppermint ones are a little overwhelming by themselves because it's just peppermint, like white chocolate peppermint, which is delicious. But like I eat one and I'm good. So, but if you mix the milk chocolate and the peppermint ones, then I think that is something kind of special and delicious. All right. I wish I had like background music I could play. All of the background music I want to play, I don't have like a copyright for, and so Not that these are monetized anyway. You can't monetize things when you don't have the ability to monetize things. But it is what it is. I guess I could play random music in the background, but I don't want to make anybody mad at me. So I'm just gonna leave people's music alone. What kind of music do you think those are making? I think technically like some kind of old-timey music. Like I'm thinking music from like early Johnny Cash and like that kind of older country kind of stuff. Well, not necessarily country, but what would have been considered pop music at the time. I'm not sure what you would consider that today because I'm pretty sure it's not music that we make today. Music's just turned in a completely different direction since like the 70s and 80s. And so, and I'm not in the music, I'm not in the, I'm not a music aficionado either. I just like whatever I like and go with it. Um, so we'll see how that goes. Okay, so one of the things is that this recipe doesn't have, from what I've read on it, and I kind of read through the whole thing. I didn't read everything on the page because there's a lot on these pages that just kind of, um, it's like this was my great aunt Myrtle's favorite recipe, and she used to make it every Christmas. And not reading all of that, I'm skipping some of that. So if in that part is where you put your tips and tricks and how to cook it in mini muffins instead of big pan of brownies, then it might be in that. But from the stuff I read, I didn't see like a separate time for doing like mini muffins or anything. All that I saw was the general time for the um, big brownies in general. So I'm gonna put this in for 10 minutes. The recipe for the big thing of brownies says about 20 to 30 minutes. So we're gonna put this in while we spoon out the other ones. And I'm gonna set a timer for 10 minutes for us to check on these. All right. So we have that one. And then we have these now this one, the little brownie things look a little bit, or the little muffin tins. I'm gonna just toss this and use it. Anyway, these, what are these called? The muffin tins look a little more shallow than the other one, which is why I did the other one first, because this one just looks smaller. So we're just gonna try this one and hopefully, yeah, see, these look more shallow because the same scoop fills it up like all the way. So I'm not trying to live that life right now. Or at least not with the kisses. So this is actually, this is good. This is good. So these will just be regular brownie bites, and technically the brownies themselves will be a little bit smaller. I don't think they'll be that much smaller because we are using the scoop to measure everything out. But hopefully they won't like explode everywhere and become one giant brownie. Oh, I don't think they would necessarily become one giant brownie, but the top might all connect. And then now if it does that, then I just want to flip it out and then like cut it until it'll be like square tops with the round bottoms. Round peg in a square hole. That's what that reminds me of. Is there a song? I think everything should be a song. Do I have the musical powers to make everything into a song? technically, yes. Does anybody want to hear me make everything into a song? Probably not. Because now I don't think I'm the worst singer in the world. There are people who sing a lot better, and people usually pay them to sing. People don't pay me to sing. I actually was once told that my singing sounded like I was killing cats. So, go from cat murdering to making up random jingles about everything. There's usually either a lot of lessons or just raw talent there. And I haven't had a lot of singing lessons, and I don't think I have the raw talent. So we're just gonna not get paid to sing. I'm good with it. Now, you pay me to bake. I will not turn down money for baking unless you want me to come in and bake at like midnight, 1 in the morning. I'm going to bed. I'm not baking at 1 in the morning. This isn't happening. But I think I'm running out of chocolate chips, which that's okay because we're running out of chocolate too. So it's coming together. I'm not sure if we have enough for the rest of this pan, but we're getting there. We're getting there. Oh man. So hopefully, like I said, hopefully these don't bake into just like one big top, like baking, like brownie top. Oh, that reminds me of like Gilmore Girls. There's one episode where Snoopy needs Lorelai to babysit, and so Snoopy like, I made you muffin tops, and she's like, what happened to the muffin bottoms? You can make a muffin bottom pie. So we're gonna have brownie tops. We make brownie bottom pie. Oh. What do you think like a brownie bottom pie would look like or taste like? Would it just be brownie? Or would it be like brownies with bits of brownies? Brownies with brownie bits? I let your imagination run wild. That's one of the great things about baking, is that as long as you follow some general formulas, which I don't know the formulas and I technically don't follow them, but as long as you basically follow the formulas, then it makes the things. And they usually come out pretty okay. Alright, so I think I've got about as much out of here as I'm going to be able to. Trying to get a little bit more out of the scoop because that scoop's really chocolatey. Oh well. So we have this. We have this. Um, the other ones have been in the brownies. The other brownies have been in the oven for about 6 minutes. So I'm gonna see if I can postpone and put these in when I check on those. Okay. So these are off to the side. I'm gonna go ahead and turn off the knee cam because we're gonna go over on the stove and it's hard to take this camera around. This camera, no problem. It moves. It's great. This camera doesn't move so easy. So that's okay. You still get to hear my lovely voice even if you can't see my lovely face. I don't have a pan out right now, but one of the things, we're going to do a couple of things first, actually. We're going to pan. This is where we're gonna put the Rice Krispie treats when we're done. Let's spray this down with cooking spray real quick because Rice Krispie treats are sticky and we don't want them sticking to the pan. And then, we're gonna need a big enough pan to fit everything in this. So we can do this one of two ways. You can use a smaller pan and then you can melt everything in one pan and then pour it into the cereal, the rice cereal, or you can melt everything in the pan and then put the rice cereal in the pan. So in the theme of saving dishes, we're just gonna put it all in one pan. So I'm gonna turn this on. Well, let's go to this other side. This other side has a bigger. Okay, there we go. So I'm gonna turn this on, and it starts with 3 tablespoons of butter, which this is close to 3 tablespoons. So we're just gonna. I don't want all of it. That's about good. I'm not gonna fuss too much over that. And I did measure out my marshmallows already. We have some funky marshmallows that kind of try to stick together and all kinds of stuff. So if you have weird marshmallows that like melted together or sticking together, this is a good use for them because you're just going to melt them down. So while the butter melts, I'm going to go grab the Rice Krispies. Yeah, are we melted yet? Close, not quite. All right. That is the timer for the brownies. So while this is still melting, let's check on the brownies real quick. Oh, so the brownies have kind of swallowed up here. The brownies have kind of swallowed up the kisses. There's a couple of little tops poking out that you can see, but I don't know if y'all can see it, but I can see that the centers are still liquid looking. So I'm going to give these 5 more minutes. And then while these are cooking, we're going to go ahead and let's rotate these sideways here. But it's like, let me try to do 2 things at once. Oh, look, this just had a little bit much in it. But you can see like here that the brownie batter is still raw in the middle. So take our other brownies, put them in here. And so our next timer is 5 minutes. A little too low, that's okay. Get low, get low, get low, get low. Okay, so water's melted. Marshmallows. Melt the marshmallows, melt the marshmallows. Like I said, these are really sticky and they're sticking to things. So from here, we're just gonna melt them. And if I was smart, I would have measured out my cereal ahead of time, but I didn't do that. So, we are just using the rice. We're just using the Rice Krispie recipe from the Rice Krispies website. That is linked down below. Here, I'll put it up on the screen real quick. There we go. It's the simple, basic directions. You can see there says 3 tablespoons of butter, and then it says 6 cups of Rice Krispies. Now this is a 4-cup measuring cup, so I'm gonna basically fill it up and then see about just kind of throwing in a little extra. Does this give me a weight limit? Um, it doesn't give me a weight measurement, so we're just gonna basically fill up this measuring cup and call it a day. I could probably weigh it out, but I don't feel like doing all the math because let's see, on here, 1 cup is 40 grams. Okay, now I want to do this. So 6 cups is more than 40 grams. Fine. Okay, so 6 cups would be 6 times 4 is 24, 240 grams. Is that what we're looking at? I think that's what we're looking at. So this is still melting. It's doing awesome. It's doing what it's supposed to do. Anyway, so let's see if we can measure out the 240. Let's see. This bowl. Okay, so in this bowl, I have 80 grams. So that's 2 cups. Let's see about this bowl. Can you all see this? Kind of, sort of, not really. Kind of. You see what I'm doing now? Okay. So in this bowl, let's see about another. Nope. Why are you suddenly doing it? Okay. 90. All right, that's 80 grams. So right now we have 80 and 80. So for our 160, and we just need another 80 grams to finish it off. Hopefully this doesn't take the whole box. 40, 60, 60, 70, 77, 81. Awesome, we're good. Okay, so in our 3 different bowls, we have 80, 80, and 80. So 2 cups, 2 cups, 2 cups. So that gives us our 6 cups we need. That's all of that. I think I need to stir this a little bit more. It's starting to smell toasty, which this isn't really supposed to be toasty, but that's okay. Let's get the recipe here. Okay, so we're just melting marshmallows. I'm hoping that this will finish melting soon because really, I also think that our pan might be a little small for this, but it's okay. I think we technically should use a bigger pan. Well, not like this pan, but the pan that we're going to push these in at the end. But I figure worst case scenario, they'll just end up really thick, and then we can cut them like instead of cutting them flat, we'll cut them thin, and then they'll be like up and down, kind of like if you ever watch any soap making videos, that's usually how they do that there. I have to make an announcement on Facebook later, because Facebook it just isn't wanting to stream today for some reason. That's okay. I will upload the video to Facebook later. All right, so it's melting. We're getting melty. It's just taking a lot longer than I expected it to. Did I set a timer? Oh, I didn't set a timer. Uh-oh. Okay. So, well, batch 1 of brownies looks fairly done. So we're going to pull that out. Batch 2 brownies still looks like it needs some time. So let's set that timer. I'm going to just do this one for 5 minutes for the moment. And hopefully that will do what it's supposed to. But you see how this is getting all goopy? That's what we are looking for. We're looking for a big pile of goop. Now it is getting kind of toasty goopy, so we're getting toasty goop. But probably, this is one of those things. Like I turn my stove on medium, and it's like, you want medium? How about medium high? And then I turn it down to like medium low, and it's like, oh, you want it really low? Okay, we'll make you really low. It's like, no, I just want medium. This is why you never trust an induction cooktop like this. Not really, but it's going to be my reasoning. Oh, goodness, look, it's sticking to the sides. It's getting to be one giant ball of confectionery. See, this is one of the things about baking. Technically, making Rice Krispie treats isn't necessarily baking, but if you watch any of the baking shows, like if they have any cakes or anything, then a lot of times part of the cake is made out of Rice Krispie treats, at least for like the structural things. So that's one of those things, like it's technically like a confectionery, but I wouldn't consider this baking because I'm not baking any of this. It's all on the stove. But it's also like no-bake cookies. No-bake cookies don't involve any baking. It's all done on the stove. But they're still cookies. Still have very similar techniques and stuff for cookies. All right. There's still a couple of chunks, and I'm trying to just like squish them out. I don't know if it's going to work with marshmallow. It's been a long time since I've tried to melt marshmallow, but we're browning it. So that's going to be interesting. Going to have like this toasted, fruity marshmallow kind of flavor overall. All right. Are we done with the chunks? We have chunks. I like how it's making bubbles. I think that's so cool and funny and just kind of a weird thing. But I'm just trying to keep these moving in here. Yes, I technically have marshmallow fluff somewhere, and I could probably find it fairly easily. But I also had marshmallows that needed to be used, so... Okay, now this is one of the things with Rice Krispie treats. Like, we have this melted, we have this part ready. So right now, we're going to pour the cereal in here, mix it, and immediately put it into the pan because they start firming up and getting weird, and you don't want them stuck in this pan. So just pour all of your cereal in. Mix to combine. I'm going to go ahead and turn the heat off because we don't need the heat anymore. Oh, shoot. See, this is the problem with this, but I can't exactly use a wooden spoon. Ooh, it smells nice and fruity. Oh no, it's blobbing. Oh no, and it's, okay, let's see. Plastic spoon. Let's see if my plastic spoon will help us. Help us, plastic spoon. Come to our rescue. You see, like it gets cold, it starts seizing up. This is not the one we want. Big pile of cereal goodness. It smells really good. It's like fruity pebbles, but fruity Rice Krispies. Holy cow. See, this is why you need to have everything ready, or at least Rice Krispie treats ahead of time, because like, oh no, I need to oil my pan. Bad idea. Bad idea at this point. Like, you see this? Okay. Let's just turn this out into our pan. Let's see. Uh-oh. First, turn this into the pan. Ooh, it got toasty on the bottom. This is why. See, this is why we do this. But I got a lot of it out. Let's see if the rubber spatula can help me get the rest of this out. Nope. I do not have faith in this. Oh man. It's trying to come out. It's also trying to stick. I probably should have put butter on the spoon. Like, oil your stuff and it will help keep it from sticking. I didn't think to oil the spoon because I was panicking. But anyway, get most of it out. Let's check on the brownies. These brownies look done. Let's see, actually they look like these look like they can use an extra minute or two. So pop those in for an extra minute or two while I try to sort out my life here. You know what? So I'm gonna put a little bit of butter on my hands. This is a bad idea. Just letting you know ahead of time. I know this is a bad idea. I am probably about to get sugar burns on my hands, but I'm crazy. So we'll go with that part. I think I got as much sugar out of this as I'm gonna get out of this pan. So we're just gonna pull all this off of here. Throw the pan in the sink. Try to get the stuff we can get off of the spoon with my hands because I like to pretend I can do things even when it burns me. Okay. Whew, this is sticky. All right, and then smush, 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 smush. Oh goodness. All right, so these just need to cool and they'll be done. We have the first pan of like these have stuff in them. So these brownies are down here. Our other brownies are just about done in the oven. I'm going to wash my hands real quick, wash all that lovely butter off my hands, and then we'll pull that out of the oven. I'm going to go ahead and turn off the oven. All right. Whenever you wash your hands, make sure you get your hands all the way dry because any leftover moisture on your hands can turn into steam while you're picking up hot things. And then you have steam burns on your hands, and that's no fun. Anyway, so we're going to set these brownies off to the side. Other ones out of the oven. Oh, and then we have brownies and Rice Krispie treats. Like I said, we're going to let the brownies run up there. The Rice Krispie treat's cool for a few minutes. But let's start getting some of these brownies out of the pan. Let's get a cooling rack. Cooling rack. Let's see if I can pull these out by hand. The masochist that I am. We can. So a little bit of chocolate chips stuff. All right, let's the corner can. All right. So here's brownies that are partially cooled in the pan and a cooling rack. And this is where we're gonna get a little spatula and have it do nothing. Because I'm trying not to use like a fork on this because these are just like really pretty and I don't want to like scratch these. So looks like we're gonna have to just stuff that chocolate chip back in there. Nothing ever happened. Didn't happen. Don't know what you're talking about. Let's see if turning this will help. Spin in the pan. I can feel it sticking to the bottom. See, most of that came out. We're gonna just press that back in there. Nothing ever happened. Didn't happen. Don't know what you're talking about. Oh, come on. So you spray them and like this is a non-stick pan and I sprayed the non-stick pan and it's still sticking because chocolate. Chocolate does that. Oh, this whole thing is okay. So you know what? These might need a few more minutes because they're not cooperating. They don't seem to want to come out. Now I don't know if that's because they don't want to come out or because they're just not cold. So yeah, we'll give these a few more minutes to cool. But like I could see, is it this one? Yeah, as I'm trying to pull this up, like the whole top just came off. So it makes me think that the bottom needs to cool a little bit. So let's see. Rice Krispie treats. Bottom of the pan. Gonna kind of stick. The top is cool. The bottom's warm. But these feel like they're cooling really quickly, which that makes me happy because then we don't have to worry about them. Are you gonna come out of the pan nicely? Yeah, we're coming out of the pan nicely. It's still it's sticking in the bottom a couple places, but we have a nice little brick. Okay, brick. I'm going to go ahead and cut these because I can. Like I said, so these are kind of thicker because we put them in like a smaller pan, and they're sort of thick and tall and thick, and it's awesome. So, knife. I'm going to cut these kind of like if this was a normal Rice Krispie treat, when we put it in like a big pan and made it all flat, then this would be like tiny Rice Krispie treats. And if I received a Rice Krispie treat like this big, I would be mad because like, hey, even the ones in the store are bigger than that. But then we'll cut this into like thirds. I feel like it's more like breaking apart than anything. I think that's like a decent sized Rice Krispie treat. Make Rice Krispie balls, I guess. Even better, Rice Krispie treat balls. Why not? It's not cutting the way I want it to, so turn it into something else. That's actually not bad. Got a lot of sticky stuff right there. That's okay. So apparently the key to dealing with Rice Krispie treats is lubricant, butter, cooking oil, something of the sort, because this is just not getting along with me right All right. And I probably could just wait for these to cool and they would cut a lot easier, but I'm impatient. Uh, okay. So looks like we're at a place where everything needs to cool. All right. Let's get back over here. All right. So now we're at a spot where just everything needs to cool before we can do much. So instead of just sitting here and talking while things cool, because I have no idea how long this is going to take, we're going to let everything cool and then we will update later. So if you've liked this, go ahead and like and subscribe. I will be here on Thursday. We're going to be making millionaire shortbread and soda bread. There we go. Millionaire shortbread and soda bread in preparation for um not St. Patrick. Yes, St. Patrick's Day, which is this coming up weekend. So if you like St. Patrick's Day, come on by on Thursday and we'll make some Irish stuff. Am I Irish? Not by heritage, like maybe genetically, but I don't know. Yeah. So this has been fun, some kid-friendly treats that I'll share with my kids later. Thanks for hanging out, and I'll see you on Thursday.